My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Stillwater. Now, this is a movie that I had zero interest in, and then the reviews came out, and everybody was saying, it's fine, it's nothing special, and it was 2 hours and 20 minutes long, so I'm like, yeah, I can avoid that movie. But I did eventually give it a watch, and I have to say that this is an interesting movie. Now let's begin with the performances. Matt Damon is fantastic in this movie. I think because he's such a big name that people can forget just how good of an actor he is, but he really is a fantastic actor. Like when Ford v Ferrari came out, everybody was talking about Christian Bale, but Matt Damon was just as good in that movie, and he's really fantastic here. You buy every single character beat of his character. He really does become this guy, and there's not a moment where you feel like he's Matt Damon. You always see him as this character, and I was really impressed with his performance. Abigail Breslin is also good in this movie. I don't think she was great, but I think she does the job she needed to well enough. But two actresses that really stood out to me in this movie, and I'm going to try to pronounce the names accurately, but I will probably definitely fail. Camille Cotton was really great in this movie. Enlilo Cedarwald, who plays the kid in this movie, I actually think it might be one of the best kid performances I've ever seen. You completely buy her as this character. There's not a moment in this movie where I'm like, oh, it's a kid trying to act. No, like she's legitimately fantastic in this movie. And her role in this movie really, by the end, you really start to realize how much you care for this character. And I just thought the young actress did a tremendous job. And you really do care for each and every relationship in this movie. Whether it's Matt Damon and his daughter or Matt Damon and this family he's befriended, you really do buy every single relationship. And I think the father-daughter relationship between not him and Abigail Breslin, but between him and the actress who I previously mentioned, who I can't pronounce the name to, I was surprised how invested I got in that relationship. By the end, it really tugged on my heartstrings, and I was definitely not expecting that. I also say this movie has a decent original score by Micah Dana, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. It's not a great score, but there's a few moments where it does elevate the movie, but for the most part, it is kind of a score that's just there. The movie's well shot, it's well directed, and it's a tad bit messy. So, this movie's made up of three very distinct thoughts. The fourth thought is this man who's in trying to find answers to the crime that his daughter was accused of committing. And it's not like a Taken movie where he's kicking down doors like, where is he? Where's the guy? You know, it's not like that. It's definitely not an action movie. It's a more realistic take on that. He's going door to door being like, hey, have you seen this guy anywhere around here? So that element didn't really excite me. I wasn't too invested in his daughter's storyline at the very beginning, so I'm just like, okay, I guess so. Let's just see where this goes. But then the second thought, it actually focuses more on the friendship and relationship he forms between this family overseas. And I'm just like, okay, I wasn't expecting this movie to be this kind of movie, but it was actually a very pleasant watch here. You really buy the relationship that's forming, and you're just like, okay, you can kind of see that this guy is changing by spending time with his family. You know, a big part of this movie is how the changing culture can change your views, you know. So if you live in one place your entire life, if you move to a place like France, it'll open your eyes to a different way of life. And you definitely get that in this sword. And then the last sword, I don't want to give away, but it kind of combines the other two swords in a way that I found to be surprisingly emotionally challenging. And I wasn't expecting that. Like, the directions the story goes were directions that I found legitimately smart. And I wasn't expecting that from this movie. I really loved the directions they went in the sword act. I thought it was emotionally challenging. I thought it was really heartfelt. And I thought what it was trying to say by the end. I was surprised by the impact this movie left on me as the credits were rolling. You know, just the last scene and the last line of dialogue, and then the music starts and the credits are rolling. I was surprised by just how locked in I was to this movie. Like, throughout the movie, I'm just like, okay, this is alright. You know, it's a little long, it's a little slow, but okay. But by the end, the impact that this movie had on me was really effective. And it's interesting because I thought the Abigail Breslin stuff was going to be the storyline I was most connected to. But by the end, it was really the relationship he formed with his family over in France. And I wasn't expecting that. This movie is about a man who's made many mistakes in life and he's trying to do better. He's trying to look for another chance at life. And I think the way the movie explores that and the direction they take his character about how he can fall back on bad habits, I just thought all that stuff was incredibly compelling and very intelligently handled. Like I said, this movie is definitely a long one and it's slow, but by the end, the impact this movie had on me, I found it all worth it. But I will also say that this movie at times does get a bit political in ways that took me out of the movie. Anytime a modern movie mentions Trump in a negative way, it just takes me out of it. It's just like, you're engaged with what's happening and then they mention Trump and it's just like, oh, there we go. There we go. We gotta have it in all the movies now, and it just pulls you right out of it, and I'm not a fan when movies do that. And also, I didn't like one scene involving this old man. He's a racist old man, and the way they handled him, I just found to be incredibly ham-fisted, and I didn't buy him as a real character. But those two scenes aside, this was a really good movie, surprisingly. The performances are all great. It has emotion, it has heart, it takes risks, it doesn't go in the way that you'd expect it to go. It has plenty to say about life. I really enjoyed this movie, so I'm going to go ahead and give Stillwater a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, have you seen Stillwater? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.